Um, I'm listening to Poison right now. Where are you? There you are. Give me something to believe in. um, it just kind of helps because you'll understand someday. But I have to talk about a sensitive mission and subject. I think the music's going to help me stay on track without crying. Because the hardest thing to being a Secret Service agent is being a Secret Service agent that's successful and female, and that's because we deal as females with emotions, and we make decisions from the heart, where men use protocol, and I use protocol also and policy, but my artistry that's been embedded in me from my family, based on our success in military and in Secret Service, has led me to train myself, and I had to understand the quantum knowledge regarding the female versus quantum knowledge regarding male. And I had to lean on not brawn, but rather where my strengths actually lie by nature, and then were enhanced by my parents and grandparents. And so I developed a system that is something that's not used, and that's how I succeeded. I was up against every UK agent, and I didn't have any tech. And tech was the number one thing, and I didn't perish, and in fact I gained weight, and that was something that they tried to do is to make you have famine first and then give you diseases, and I didn't do anything to take in the diseases except for eat, and sometimes I did get them, and I ended up with stroke on one side, and they did end up giving me bat venom, and I got bitten by a deadly spider. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, it's over here. You can't see. It's really, really faded now. And I'm glad because that was. Where'd you go? It's right. I can see it here, but you might not be able to see it. It's right there, and it's faded. There it is. And it's faded quite a bit, but I woke up one morning and I said, oh, I got a splinter. And I waited a couple of days. I pulled it out, and it was a very, very bad tarantula bite. And depending on the um, variety, I want to say, of a spider, it might have been limited on its venom capability, but it bit so hard that it lost a fang. But I had been bitten here, and they had done things like put pythons and things in my RV, and it was bad, really, really bad. And the best thing I can tell you is that I prayed, and I knew to stay celibate, and I know that choice has it lasted 15 years, and I knew that was the number one thing that would keep me safe was celibacy, because I didn't take in any primary issue like what they call black seed disease, and being understanding of quantum physics and quantum medicine, I knew that would be an internal invasion, not only that, but an invite of black plague, known as super AIDS. And I don't practice anything harmful in the practice of lovemaking, but I do limit the choices because I'm just not tempted in the field, especially because it's a method of overthrow of God's kingdom. It's one of God's kingdoms, and I think that all of us agree that is an absolute no-no. And we're just going to say that the black forces are these people who want to overthrow a kingdomship. I'm going to remind them that that's God's governing, and you hate God, so make it your own. You can't have it because you can't, one, survive the quantum testing, and the quantum does get in there, and so you have to be of goodwill and good heart and good mind and good intent in order to lead a people. And I know that my primary wasn't going to be anything but Egypt, but the basis of the mission that I had gone on was to down communism in the KKK, which is where they placed me in a bad family network of KKK. And the minute I left that network in 1990 and moved down to San Diego the first time, communism fell. They signed documents, and I want to say that that was been an effort that's been in play for 20 years, and it was. But they needed to wait until I was safe and I had gotten out of the San Joaquin Valley. And 3 months later, the news broke out, and I'm like, wow, that's great, it's amazing. Of course, I had a lot still to do because there was so much on my list, and I can't even tell you because you're going to say, why would you give this to anybody, let alone a woman? You know, she's got to do this, she's got to cure that, she's got to raise this up, and she's got to handle it. I'm just going to tell you that I just kept working. Instead of giving you the whole list of everything they expected, I'm going to tell you that my primary focus was civil rights of the migrant worker, and yes, I did help bring them home. And when I left, so did the knowledge of what was going on over there. And I went and told United Nations, and then I did a really good sneak, and I conjunctified the court systems. I said, I'm engaged over here because I did the picture that's on my website. There's like no pictures of me at all because I just don't do anything. I'm boring. That's just it. I'm boring. I am kind of a nerd, and I'm boring. I'm not sexy at all. And those pictures were to legitimately stronghold this sexy man. He's sexy. I mean, sexy police officer in Mexico to a relationship of potentiality. What I did was like, okay, I can't give you anything bad. And I said, because we're not married yet. And he said, give it to me. So I gave him something. I said, okay, there you go, court system. And then I stopped communications. And I said, there you go, I'm engaged. And that means being a global defense, I can do that without getting in trouble. And he was so intrigued but pissed off. And he should be, because he's one of the players, right? He is. Players are just, you guys are just something else, aren't you? You are. And so what I did was I said, so I'm engaged, so that means the U.S. military has, not the U.S., but the Mexican military has to stand in and defend me because he's Mexican military. And they did. And so then he didn't want to get married, and so I kept holding on. I said, that's fine, because I don't either. And then I reached over and I pulled in my cousin from Egypt. I said, hey, I got some properties over here. And I did. I had some properties from the old family, and I shoved it over there because they gave it to me because it's blood properties. They killed a bunch of natives on there. And I said, I don't want it, but I need to do something with it. So I gave it to Egypt. I have a cousin, or not a cousin, I have a great nephew over there named Farouk. And so I played it a little bit, and he's a player too, and so it's kind of like take her down. And so the marriage thing came up again, and so I shoved it over there, and I said, here's the dowry. And what they did was they tied up the properties and did the investigations for me, and it didn't cost me anything. And I'm like, have fun, Blackbird, and date all the girls, I don't care. And then I went over and found a really sexy prince named Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum in Dubai. He's my cousin. Like 7 marriages over or something. And you gotta love Arabia. He's so beautiful. He's probably the most supportive. And we started up a relationship of great wonder. And I'm not going to say anything because my life has just been filled with so many bases of so many wonderful books or movies or something. I don't know, but I know that this relationship was so intended to be filled with love and not claiming anything outside of I love you, Hamden, for being there for me and for wearing your nerd glasses when I wore my nerd glasses. He did the same thing. He got online. I said, these are my dork smart glasses. They were huge. And he puts them on also. He just accepted me. He sent help. He sent family. Offered so many times to give me money. And I couldn't do that because if I took money from him, then that means I didn't do it by myself. And I have money. I got money. God, I got money. My sister left me everything she had in Iran, and my other great nephew named Mohammed has been there for me so much more than Ham did, and I feel so blessed. He's a prince of Afghanistan, and they love me so much, and my sister's children and grandchildren came to visit me in Iran because I got so fought over that Iran-Contra had everything to do with me because I was placed here, entrusted to be able to do my work, and they weren't letting me. And I said, she's not safe. You're just trying to, we don't know, but you need to stop because we have a coalition. We have a peace coalition. And that rules the world. It's the peace coalition. And so they said, get her out of the Queen's lousy ass people and put her in Secret Service Ronald Reagan. That's what happened. Everything got squared away there, and I wasn't getting fucked with anymore. And these wonderful people have fought for me, and everybody has hated them, and you guys have been so propaganded into it because there's nothing wrong with being holy, and for my Christians there's nothing wrong with being a holy warrior for Christ, and these people are 100% Mohammedans, and I'm Jewish. And the biggest thing that they don't want you to know about is that they're fighting because they're running to protect a Jewish holy girl who's little itty bitty, and she's got kids, and she's here, she's trying to do her job for the indigenous, and the groups didn't want the indigenous to get the funds, and I'm saying the funds aren't yours, they're mine. And they didn't want the indigenous to get the programs, and they didn't want Catwoman to be here, and I'm like, I'm Elizabeth. I got a throne over there that said I could be Cleopatra if I wanted to, and I'm Droopy Drawers, and I am. And they say, well, you can't fight, and I just say, bitch, I stood toe to toe with your Marine Corps reject and kicked the fire out of him in front of 200 people in Mexico. And that's because my heart was stronger than his brawn. And the women know, if we have to, we can. And I did. and I kicked the tar out and never missed my spot. And I stood on my ground, and I did it for the rights to fight for the indigenous. But let me tell you what got me there. I'm with the GOP, always have been. And 4 years before Barack got into office, I switched over to democracy to walk him through because I needed to be the eyes to see what was going on. And I had to make sure that the very first African American tribal president wasn't being messed with. And I saw a time, didn't I? I did. I saw a time. And I so put it out there, and he just wouldn't complain. And that so means I couldn't do much. And so one thing I was able to do was to secure a network of people around him so that they could send in the forces. And one of them was Jim. And another one was Angelina. And another one was Steve. And it's very simple. Bad groups want to pit good people against each other. It's just the same as getting one female politician to go up against another female politician. You're going to say, oh, one's going to kill one another. And I'm like, you're messing with the women's rights to rise up. So you want to kill one, right? Why don't you leave the sisterhood alone? And so they tried to pit one great, amazing president up against a woman who's intended to do great works and never wanted to be president. I can't be president. I don't want to be president. I can't because I'm fighting for the rights of my people in Russia and for the rights of my people in Egypt to be able to take back a kingdomship if they want. And they can someday, and they can't with me, but it might be 3 generations now. And I need to set that in place, and that means I can't abdicate. And if I took a position in something like a president or a governor or something, that would mean that I give up my rights to kingdomship, and I can't. I just love God too much. And I want God to be able to come back, and I want God to have a throne, and I want God to have industry, and I want God to be able to make things right. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that I'm fighting isn't a holy war. It never has been. It's bio warfare. And it doesn't matter who's spilling it, spraying it, or drizzling it down our cups. It's wrong. And I've been sick so many times. I can't even tell you. Well, the stroke is part of it. But there's been so much that they did. They tried to do a hit and run when I was 5. I got hit by a car. They cut off my finger when I was. This is the biggest thing right here. Is they cut my finger off when I was 18 months old. And the big thing is that there are no stitch marks. And there's 2 other scars on my body and no stitch marks. And that means one thing. That means neglect. And that's a big thing. So when I send in my paperwork, I do a right thumb and a right pinky. People say signature, and I don't sign it, but I do. I sign it, but it's my fingerprint that excludes all doubt. That my step. I have a gavel at ICOJ and Special Forces, and I intended to use it to cutting red tape and stuff so that Special Forces units can go in and propertize. And it's easy little gavel, and it is. And I could do it anywhere. And so then I started saying, okay, you're gonna mess with me. And they were messing with me, and they're trying to send Barack in to mess with me. And I kept having to send messages in a sly way, and you're gonna hear about it, and it's all true. And it's all kinds of bad. And all I can tell you is that if the bad thinks the good are angry at each other, then they're going to leave one of us alone. And I could yell out a message and flip somebody off. and they're going to say, okay, thank you, I got it. And they're going to go off and take care of something. That's what happened for a long time. But the biggest show of support is my voting record, and no one ever thought about checking it because I knew he was up and coming, and I switched 2002, I think, 2002, because I knew he was coming. So CIA says you're in a really precarious situation. I was, because they had sent me to Prague had sent me to study Schindler, and Schindler is a self-declared, and SAG declared, and this is a very situation